My name is Larry McCarter. I was the president and CEO of Burroughs Incorporated, which was a carve out from Unisys in 2010. So I left there at the end of last year after we sold off most of the company, and now looking to get back into the private equity space to run another company. So I've been, for the last 5-6 months, networking around with small mid-cap private equity firms, which is how I happened to see Blackmore Associates. And
how did you see us?
I think LinkedIn, actually. Yeah. So I think, on LinkedIn, got some sort of trigger to contact you. And so I did. And I think you and I had a conversation.
Yes.
And you gave me a little bit of the briefing, and that looked like a good way for me to network with the type of PE firms that I was looking to get introduced to. So I've been spending a lot of my time reaching out to private equity firms in that space of, I would say, $150 million revenue. This space of $150 million of revenue or less. Because that's kind of
meaning they buy companies.
They buy companies, and particularly I was looking for somebody interested in a buy and build.
Got it.
Okay, so because that's what I want to do. That's what I really enjoy doing at Burroughs, and want to do it again. Not ready to pack it in, I guess is the best way to put it. So, anyways, that's how I got going with Blackmore. You asked about my experience with Blackmore. I think it's been quite good. From the standpoint of the individuals that I work with, helped me through the documents, the process, gave me,
documents like for what?
Oh, for the investment thesis. And
why is that important in hindsight?
Well, it's the structure of it. All right. I mean, as I looked at some of these, I've went down the process now with 3 or 4 of these in the last 6 months with other PE firms. So I think the framework that you guys are using is pretty good. In a fairly quick fashion, summary fashion, allows somebody to articulate, what's the transaction about, what's the industry segment, why do this deal, what's good, what's
What
bad.
about if you don't have a transaction?
Well, you could certainly pick an industry and a domain knowledge. For me, I started there, but I had 2 or 3 that I was already looking at because I either had a SIM or I'd been talking to some independent owners. And for me, it was easier to structure a deal thesis around a known entity.
Yes.
And so for me, bringing those here, I've gotten some very quick feedback from some of the other PE firms of, is this something that looks attractive or not? And they've asked me some good questions about, some things that maybe I have thought or not thought about relative to the, the construct of the company and things to look for. So I think the pre-work was good. A couple of
Talk about the pre-work.
Well,
What you got?
First of all, a couple of webinars I thought was good. Some of these things I've been exposed to because I was part of a private equity-backed company, but it's still, here's some things that you need to make sure you understand about how PE firms think, what kind of deals they're looking for, and some reality checks on, how many deals really are done per year.
Now, are you talking the pre-work? There also is the roadmap to success.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, no, that's fine. I think the roadmap to success is good from a standpoint of some key things, some headliners that an executive or somebody needs to be thinking about when they're getting prepared for meetings with PE firms.
Yes.
Right. So I think those were good ticklers, and some of these things you've seen before, but it's kind of nice to be reminded, so to speak. So I thought those were good. I think the general prep, I think your staff did a nice job of taking a look at my bio and my investment thesis, and saying, hey, here's some things, these look pretty good. Let me make sure I understand them, and here's some areas that I think these guys, some of the PE firms are going to want some additional information on.
So the benefits. So describe your ROI here.
How's my ROI? I think it's a good investment. I haven't seen the return yet, but no, I think as far as, let's just say, time spent. We talked about that today, right? All these PE firms will tell you time's their precious commodity, and they only have so much time in a day to look at deals and review executives or find executives that might fit. And these are trigger points that may not come to fruition for another 3, 6, 12 months.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the standpoint of being introduced to some PE firms, getting some face time with them. As far as the interviews, I've had 2 guys come back to me and he goes, you know what, you're not exactly the guy I thought you were. You're really a business development and operator. I thought you were a techie. So
You're able to change their
So
mind.
getting a couple of minutes to talk to them, and just give some background things again, and I think it helps, because a piece of paper or your LinkedIn bio or whatever don't always tell the story.
Good. That's it. All we get.